Hi, Richard and Linda. I want to say happy anniversary to you. It's been a long time since I've chauffeured the two of you on dates before the two of you had your license. And Joe and I would like to relate a few happy memories we've had with the two of you since we've been through a lot together.
We have no particular order, but we do remember a lot of things. One that comes to mind immediately is Richard holding Justin at his bris.
Then Linda and I going to NYU to get our real estate license. That was a happening. Then there was thousands and thousands of white pocketbook purchases for Dietmar, of course all of which were returned. And then there was a brilliant time that we came up with the idea of buying her something practical, a garbage pail instead of a pocketbook. That went over real big. Oh, and then there was Deed all the time. Do your own thing. Do your own thing. Remember the frogs? Who was the artist for those frogs? Do you remember? No.
Stewart, something
Right,
Stewart.
right, exactly.
But Richard and Linda were always mimicking Deed with the V and do your own thing. In Westport, we had all those weekends with the heaters under our feet on the floors and the ice skating on the pond and
the
kids,
sleeping in sleeping bags in the family room.
Kids frolicking under the leaves, and just great times at all your weekends in Westport.
And that's when Linda tried to be a gardener for a short period of time. Remember that? In the great swimming pool, watching Hillary do hours and hours of laps, the great swimmer. And then there was, of course, the Big
Eagle in the Mediterranean.
Spectacular.
Great trip. Yeah, and Richard, Linda, we have to exclude you from this one. Richard, I don't remember the name of the place, but I think it was Linda's parents we were visiting in some resort in Florida, and they had a spa. And you and I played nude volleyball in the water, and then we snuck some beer into the spa and steam room, and we had a jolly old time staggering out after that day.
And then there was the very, very scary, awful infancy of Hillary's birth as she went through one health issue after another. Hard to believe she's so gorgeous and terrific and healthy today, except for her back. At any rate.
Mom, you got all the serious ones or what?
Yeah.
The complex on Dune Road in West Hampton Beach. You guys spent great summers, and we used to enjoy visiting you. This was well before I was in the music business, and I used to listen with one ear as Jimmy Koplik would talk to his partner Shelley Finkel, and Richard, Linda, and I were listening to him in bemusement, actually. But those were great summers, and we had great times with you in West Hampton Beach.
One great house after another on Dune Road in West Hampton Beach. And then there were those fabulous teachers' union trips to the Caribbean with Deed and Dietmar, especially the one in particular one where Richard and Linda decided that Jane and Joe had to try marijuana. The experience of a lifetime. This one Jake's enjoying. Never again have I tried marijuana since Richard and Linda's introduction. It was a time we will never forget. Then there was, of course, when I got this wonderful present from Deed and Dietmar, we got the MGB. But, of course, I did not know how to drive a stick shift. So Richard had to actually drive the MGB home from the dealership because I didn't know how. And then there was great hours of his teaching me how to drive a stick shift. Thank you so much, Richard.
And I seem to remember when Jane came to visit me at Fort Dix, and something happened with the car, and Richard had to come all the way down deep into the nether levels of New Jersey to retrieve the car near Fort Dix.
Always there when we need you, Richard. Like the time that Joey went through his operation and you sat with me at Johns Hopkins for hours as he was operated on, and you were my support team. You were fabulous. I'll never forget.
And Linda, the seminal billboard of Van Wagner. Thank you, Linda, for Jordan. I hope you'd forget that billboard in Manhattan. What a great gesture that was. Sunday mornings when Jane and I were dating, Richard, you and I used to go with Deed to some appetizer store where Robert Miller, I think, is that his name, Robert Miller?
Yeah.
Used to work, and we would load up on pickled herring and chopped herring and smoked salmon and whitefish, and we'd bring it all back. Deed had this huge smile on his face, and of course Toby said, "You bought so much food."
And then she would hide it in the refrigerator and,
then
say, "Put it all out."
And then she ate it all anyway.
Okay, and And then there were great ice skating and skiing lessons at the Concord Hotel, as Linda and Richard laughed as I bundled Jordan and Hillary up with one hat and one scarf after another. Lots of fun. And then there was, of course, Richard's love, Blackie, the car of the century that he took such good care of, and he drove every place. It was a far cry from the stupid white Valiant, push-button start white Valiant that we drove as teenagers. And then there was, of course, weekends of Richard killing himself loading trucks at Brookfield Close. Did a great job. He was a great, great son.
Of course, that was all before Linda, as was parking the cars at the beach club without a license. But Linda, I remember spending a lot of time with your parents and your father in particular at your house. Richard and you and Jane and I would visit your parents at your house in Hewlett, and I had fond memories of
Wait,
that.
and then there
including
was...
the time I put the toothpick in the
sofa.
It was one of those pronged toothpicks, and I was playing with it, and I put it in the sofa, and then I pulled it out. It wouldn't come out because it had prongs, and all the stuffing came out of the sofa.
No, when I was trying to hide it.
Yeah, you may never have known about that one, but someday I'm sure your mother, someday thereafter, your mother or father discovered that hole in the sofa. Yeah. And the Turkey Cup Thanksgivings. How many great Thanksgivings we've spent. And we do miss the touch football games. Now that there's a new generation of Shapses, you can have an expanded team, but we'll still take you. And we look forward to the resurrection of the Turkey Cup. It's been a long road, and Linda and Richard, we hope you have many, many, many years of happiness together and great and fond memories. And we miss you. We're sorry we're not with you now, but we hope you have a wonderful anniversary.
Happy anniversary. We love you.
Happy anniversary.